Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well today. Today we're going to do a little bit of graphing of inequalities on a coordinate plane. It's called linear graphing of inequalities. And so we're going to show you real quick, and refer back to what we talked about yesterday a little bit. It's a lot of what you've already done before. For instance, if we want to graph this line here, the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to actually have to solve it for y. Okay, because that's the first step in any graphing, is to solve for y. So we get 2y greater than or equal to negative 3x minus 6, and we divide by negative 2. And yesterday when I was giving you the notes, I said that you got to remember, when you divide by a negative number, you got to flip the sign. So here's one of those examples. Your line that you're going to graph is going to be y. Instead of greater than, it goes to less than. Flip it, reverse it. 3 halves x plus 3. So there's the equation I'm going to graph. I'm going to graph this just like you normally would any line. We're going to start with the y-intercept, or the starting point. It's at positive 3 there. I have a positive 3 halves slope, which means I go up 3 and over 2. Can't go any further there, so I go down 3, back 2, down 3, to the left 2. And now I'm going to draw my line. Now, yesterday in our notes, we said that we have this less than or equal to sign here, and that meant a closed circle, or if you remember, I put down a solid line. So for today, for this, we're going to do a solid line. All right, so I'm going to put that solid line right there through all our points. And there's what our line would look like. Now, yesterday you drew arrows when you graphed on a number line. So today we have to draw, or we have to do what's called some shading. So we're going to pick a point. I always pick 0, 0. That's the center point. That makes it the easiest. And I plug 0, 0 into my equation. So 3 times 0 minus 2 times 0 is greater than or equal to negative 6. And I see that over here I get 0 minus 0, so I have 0 is greater than or equal to negative 6. And we have to determine, is that true or false? And in this case, it's true, because 0 is larger than negative 6. Because 0, 0 is to the right of this line, or you could look at it as below this line, and because when I plug 0, 0 into the inequality, it's true, I'm going to shade to this right side of the line. Okay, so we shade to the right side of the line. That means any point that I choose down here in this region over here will be correct and will be true and will work. Okay, so there's our first example. Our second example is, we're again 6x plus 5y. I'm going to show you real quick a second problem. Notice that it's a less than, or it's a greater than symbol. So we're going to subtract 6x from both sides, and we get 5y is greater than negative 6x plus 10. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. Notice that I'm dividing by a positive here, so there's no need to flip the sign. Negative 6/5 x plus 2. All right, just like normal, starting point is at positive 2. From there, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down 6, right 5. It's a negative slope, and those are the only 2 points I'll be able to fit on. Now, this example, notice it has the greater than symbol. So yesterday, you would plot that as an open circle. Today, you're going to plot it as a dashed line. So again, take my ruler, lay it here on my 2 points, and this time I do a dashed line. Okay? And I make it big and go all the way across. Now, same thing as the problem before. We're going to take that 0, 0. Okay? I'm going to take that point, and I'm going to plug those coordinates into my original equation. 6 times 0 plus 5 times 0 has to be greater than 10. In this case, I end up with 0 plus 0 is greater than 10. So 0 is greater than 10. And this time, this is false. Okay? 0 is not greater than 10. It's less than 10. which means that instead of shading like this one, we shaded towards because it was true. This time we're going to shade above. We're going to shade away from the point we chose. So if you choose 0, 0 and it works out to be true, you shade so that 0, 0 is in the shading. If it's false, it means you want to shade to the other side so that it is not in the shading. All right, so there is your quick lesson for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to jump into the office hours and we can clarify any of those for you. Hopefully this all makes sense.